beep ba 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 boop ba 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 boop beep ba 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 boop ba 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 dee ba 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 boop ba 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 boop beep ba 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 boop ba 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 boop. Hello everyone. Welcome to chapter 85 of The Last Thoughts of a Busy Mind. This one titled I Love Scatman, John. A sort of a bookend to our chapter 83, I Hate Jordan Peterson. This is sort of similar, but the opposite. First of all, as you will hear shortly, because I feel like. Yep, the coughing is still going on, and you can hear my voice isn't very good. I'm sorry, I don't know why. COVID, man, COVID is hard. uh, my drink today is some lemon flavored sparkling water. Now, before you say that is what contributing to my coughs, I didn't cough at all in Esfahan, so that's not it. I drank a lot of carbonated drink there. So, I wanted to talk about this subject quite a lot this week, and as of yesterday, I sort of need to talk about Scatman John. Now, you'll see why in a little bit, but let me just tell you that yesterday was not good. Internet in Iran is restricted in a lot of places, both internally and externally, meaning both the government restricts it and a lot of sites restrict us outside of Iran. So yeah, in order to use a lot of the World Wide Web, I need a VPN. And as of yesterday, the VPN that I use is blocked by, I suppose the government has blocked it. Because there's weird stuff going on that front. And so yeah, you can't imagine the stress that I feel, especially as I'm in the middle of editing one of the biggest videos I've ever made, and there is a chance that you might ever see it. There's a chance this might be the last time you ever hear my voice, because if things start to go bad, I hope that's not the case. That would be really a blow to my already broken psyche, but hopefully that will not happen. Now, as I said, this one is a mirror of I Hate Jordan Peterson. And in that one, we talked about some more news. Some more news is a video called A Brief Look at Jordan Peterson. And in this one, we have another video. How did I find Scatman John? And who is Scatman John? Well, both of those answers can be found in the same place. In the description, there will be a link to Todd in the Shadows One Hit Wonderland episode on Scatman, the song that you heard at the beginning, and Scatman John. I will give a short summary, but I do recommend going and watching that video before listening to the rest of this episode, because I will be talking a little bit about the intricacies that I might not be able to talk about, because this one is short, and Scatman's story is very heartwarming and very good. So, Scatman John Larkin, is a jazz musician, and in his early 50s, in 1995, in the middle of the 1990s, he got famous with the song that you heard at the beginning. Ba 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 boom, beep bum 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 boom, bum 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 beep bum 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 boom. And so he mixed scanting and jazz with techno, which was great. So, by the way, when you're watching, a lot of the people might like him ironically. I love him unironically, like, because I watched that video and I found his story so great. A couple of things you need to know about him, just before we start. He's a jazz musician. He does scatting, which is very hard, by the way. It's, as you might have heard me try to do it and fail, it's very hard to do. And he has a stutter, or if you're British, stammer. he has a stutter, and when he sings, well, everybody says that Scatman stutters but doesn't stutter when he sings. He says that scatting is part of his stuttering, and that's just a very heartwarming story because again in that song he's all okay. We'll get to the philosophy very soon, but yeah, I listened to both of his. He has three albums. I listened to two. Scatman, Scatman's World, and Everybody Jam. I'll talk about Everybody Jam too because I need to talk about that. But yeah, I do love his songs. Unironically, like there is a lot of his songs that I think are great. In the first album, of course, Scatman's World is not. I don't love it that much. But you had Mambo Jambo. You have Quiet Desperation. Quiet Desperation is great. And you have High Lewis, which is like a legitimate jazz song. There is not much of techno in there. It's a legitimate jazz song. I think Lewis, probably in that case, is Louis Armstrong. We'll get to him too. But yeah, he has a lot of good songs that I genuinely think are great. And before we go on with him, I think I need to step away from Scatman John and talk a little bit about myself. Now, this show might be the contrary to that because I've recorded a lot of this show when I've been very down, and I have a lot of downness in general, like moments of doubt and well, um, shaky self confidence, I guess. So there is that, but I've tried at least to be more positive. A couple of chapters ago, chapters I think at 47, I talked about hope and how great that is. But I am what you may consider an optimist. I try to look at the positive stuff in the world, even when there is not much to look at. Always look at the bright side of life. That's the message. But there was a time I used to think that optimism meant a disconnection from world, and so I know that for me to be an optimist, I was gonna be disconnected from the world, and I legitimately thought that for the longest time. Um, that is not right. That is not correct. You don't have to be disconnected from the world. You can be connected. You can be mad at stuff. I think optimism is just that drive. That hope. That yeah, things are bad, but you can change it. But there is a way to change stuff. Not you personally. I don't mean you as in you can change it because no, nobody single handedly can change anything. But you, as in the human collective, can change the world for the better. It doesn't have to be the way it is. Optimism is that fuel to keep the engine running because without it, well, the cynicism might break you. The world is cynical enough as it is. I don't think I need to add to that. So yeah, I'm kind of an optimist and I try to be positive, and that's I guess why Scatman John really like connected with me because I saw a lot of my word philosophy in him. In that song that you heard at the beginning, he says that everybody stutters one way or the other, so check out my message to you. As a matter of fact, don't let nothing hold you back. If a Scatman can do it, so can you. And that is just such a great message. I do believe that a lot. Like that, I unironically said that to my friend that if I can do it, you can too. One of them wanted to make a video, and I said, "Well, yes, listen. If I can make videos, you can too." One of them wants, "If I can write, you can too." So yeah, if a Scatman can do it, so can you. I do love that line of thinking and messaging. It might be kind of weird to say it like that, but I feel like there is merit in it. Just by seeing someone else do it, well, you might be able to. If a Scatman can do it, so can you. Everybody starts one way or the other, so check out my message to you. And then you go and listen on to his other works and realize, again, he's not disconnected. Like, don't take optimism and positiveness and lack of cynicism and sincerity with disconnectedness. Quiet Desperation, a song that I love. I listened to it like a dozen times. It's in his first album, Scatman's World. It's not one of the ones that has a music video, so I don't guess a lot of people listen to it. But Quiet Desperation is about a homeless person broken by the American dream. Like someone, again, you're living in desperation. Um, and like it's not a happy song. It's not about, oh, things are gonna be great. But no, it's a song that just again shows you the philosophy. Things are bad. Things are bad. There are problems. It's not like, oh, optimist people don't see problems. No, it's just that you get to feel the connectedness in it. Okay, I don't know how to explain it. The thing is that I feel like with optimism, with realizing that you can connect with other people and feel their problems, you might be able to change the world for that person. Again, this is, as I said, opposite of Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson peddles hate, peddles disconnectedness, peddles like, oh, there is a authority, there is a hierarchy in the world. And Scatman John, in the Scatman's world, literally, how can someone win if winning means that someone loses? Like, his worldview and philosophy is just inclusivity and equalness. It's just like seeing, I don't know, George Carlin's scat, which is a weird thing. But yeah, I guess they are from the like same generation. Like they came out in the same world, I guess. I think Carlin was older, but again, they are from the same mindset, same counterculture movements. They both saw the same things. They both saw Watergate. They both realized the weight of social justice. So yeah, the importance of social justice. So yeah, he's a great man. He was a great man. He died in 1999, and that's he's a part of me dies when I say that. So, before we go on, I need to talk about Everybody Jam, and because I talked about him in a philosophical sense and societal sense, but now I want to talk about another aspect of him that I felt very close to. Those of you who have watched the video, the Todd in the Shadows video, know this, but for those of you who don't, Everybody Jam is the single from his next album, after Scatman's World. And Everybody Jam is a virtual duet between Scatman John and Louis Armstrong. First of all, I love Louis Armstrong. Back in chapter, I think 67. God, it's been like 20 chapters. Uh, I did an episode about being old, getting older. Yeah, chapter 67. What a wonderful world to have a quarter life crisis in. It's the first episode I wrote notes for in this little notebook. And in that, I talk about what a wonderful world. But in general, I love Louis Armstrong. Like, I do love Louis Armstrong a lot. So, here's this man, Scatman John. He has an album with a couple of hits in it. Scatman, it's already a hit. And Scatman's World is already a hit. And then he has a chance to make another album and another single. And the first thing he does in that album and that single is do a virtual duet with a guy he loves, Louis Armstrong. Now, the reason this connected with me is because it's exactly what I would do. Todd in the Shadows called him a dork. He's very dorky. And I can't disagree. But the thing is, I am also a huge dork. Like a huge dork. So, I guess I felt close to another dork. Because, again, I'm not kidding. This is exactly what I would do. I would, if I ever get a music career, I doubt I will. I'm not a good singer. I'm not that very interested in music theory. But anyways, if I ever become a musician and ever have a hit, like this second time I get to make what I want, I'm like, okay, I'm making a virtual duet with Leonard Cohen. I'm making a virtual duet with Louis Armstrong. I'm making a virtual duet, as of now, with Scatman John, like Lou Bega did with Scatman and Hatman. You know, Scatman and Hatman travel online. Travel in time, Scatman and Hatman going online. Let's go, and let them know. Bobby, bop, 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 bop. That's actually not a bad song. Like, it's a good dance number. I can dance to it. Now you have to imagine that. So yeah, um, as I said, I knew I wanted to talk about Scatman John because last week I wanted to actually do it, but traveling was more prominent in my head. Um, my cousin, which stayed in the same hotel room with me, when I traveled, probably heard Scatman John like 1,000 times. Yeah, I'm that asshole that plays music out loud. Uh, because that was my week. Like I used to listen to Scatman John a lot. And this week I would have to, but editing. Like, oh my god, don't let me get started on editing. But yeah, that's the thing. I wanted to talk about him, but as of yesterday, I needed to talk about him because when I listened to Scatman, you know, I felt better. There is something in it. I don't know what will happen with the internet situation in Iran. I don't know if my access to the world would be cut off. I don't know what's in my future. And that frightens me. That is frightening. That is what makes me realize that maybe I'm not an optimist at all times. But then I listened to Scatman John. I listened to Lebanon, which is a great song, by the way. I listened to Everybody Jam. I listened to Scatman. I listened to Scatman's World. I listened to Quiet Desperation. And I realized, yeah, things can be bad, but um, I guess I could have listened to Bobby Fallon too. Don't worry, be happy. No, that's not correct. You can't say don't worry, be happy in this case. I mean, that's the point though. That's the point with optimism. This is the fuel. I need to keep on going. As of now, I still have access to the internet. It might go out the next hour, but in this hour, I have it. So yeah, I can either not use it or use it and then see what I can do later. Everybody stutters one way or the other, so check out my message to you. As a matter of fact, don't let nothing hold you back. If the Scatman can do it, so can you. Everybody stutters one way or the other, so check out my message to you. As a matter of fact, don't let nothing hold you back. If a Scatman can do it, so can you. Everybody. Before we go on, let me do the usual stuff. Don't forget to send me a message on Anchor. Your message will be read at the beginning of the next. No message will be played at the beginning of the next episode, and you might shape a whole episode around that. If you're not okay with sending a voice message, you may comment, and if you are listening to this on Castbox, I do have notification on for Castbox, and if you listen to this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and also comment there. I did get a comment, but how's everything going? That's a fantastic picture. The reason I didn't read it out loud at the beginning of the episode is because it's not really relevant to the episode. The picture is my picture on YouTube, by the way. I think. I hope so. Because otherwise, there is no visuals to this. So yeah, I'll read it if it's more relevant to the show. So yeah. In the meantime, don't forget to listen to more Scatman John. Rest in peace, Scatman. Living in Scatland. Calling out from Scatland. Calling out from Scatman's world. Let me play the song again. See you next week.